Well, here we are. The end of an era, if you will. So as the title states, this is my goodbye YouTube video, and this is it's a little difficult for me because this was a hard decision for me to make. And I want to kind of, before we get into it, tell you about this video. It's essentially going to be just a rant, right? I don't normally do these. Usually when I do like camera videos, it's like jump cuts and, I try to speed it along. I'm just going to let the camera run and I'm going to talk. And I was going to do just like a goodbye, see you later guys video, but I didn't feel like that would help people, if that makes sense. And I feel like I have an interesting perspective on what I'm doing, why I did it, and why I'm stopping doing it. So I want to tell my story from start to finish, what made me get into this and what is making me leave, right? So for anybody who is out there who has watched it from the beginning, you might know some of this information. This might not be an interesting video for you to watch, but for anybody who's out there that doesn't really know where I started from, how I got here, what I'm doing, and is thinking about getting into YouTube or Twitch or any kind of like gaming field where you will be your own person or boss, like a professional gamer or something like that. For anybody who's looking to get into that, I'm going to give you basically like the pros and cons of the industry and why it's cool versus why I'm fucking leaving it, right? I'm going to probably keep jokes to a minimum because this is fairly serious for me and my family, and I want to make sure it's as informational as possible, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with my personal life before I started YouTubing. And this is I think a crucial part in the process. So first off, I used to work for Verizon Wireless, and I was a regional manager, like in the sales side, so a regional sales manager, if you will. Made really good money. And I went into work one day for a meeting, and I left without a job. And it wasn't even a meeting like for my performance or anything like that. I went in for a meeting with one of my clients, and instead, my boss met me there and said I don't have a job anymore. And that was a humongous blow to my family because I was making, to put it into perspective, my wife is an occupational therapist, and I was making probably double what she makes. I was making very good money. I'm not going to go into numbers because I'm not trying to brag. I'm saying this now because it's going to contrast something here in a minute. So I was making very good money, and I was let go, and I basically found out later that I was let go because the person who took my job was the best man in my boss's wedding. So it's not what you know, it's who you know. But it was a humongous blow to my family. I still have all four of my grandparents. I still have a great-grandma left, and this was probably one of the most tragic things that's ever happened to me. So I can only imagine what a death in my family is going to feel like. So this has been my biggest loss to date, and I was devastated because I did a good job. I'd never had any complaints. I thought I was doing great. I had grown the region to a much larger than it was when I took over. And anyway, long story short, and I'm going to say long story short a lot, but it was such a shock. That's why it was a big blow, right? So it took me a while to get over that. And it happened right when the whole like job market thing was fucking terrible. The housing market had crashed, and I couldn't find a job to replace it. The money that I was making, I couldn't find a job to replace it. And my background is in computer information systems. I'm networking. It's not in business management. It's not in sales management. So, I go to another company. I'm like, hey, you guys should hire me. I did business management for Verizon for 4 years, 3.5 years. You should hire me. They're like, but you don't have a degree in business. You're a networking guy. And I'm like, you got me. Like, what the fuck do you say? Like, okay, I realize that, but I've been doing, I've got the experience. It didn't matter, right? They weren't wanting to hire somebody for as much as I was wanting because that's what I was accustomed to making, right? So it went several months, and I finally just said, fuck it, I'm going to take whatever I can. I took the best offer, which was a company called Rollins, which Atlanta natives or Georgia natives in general may know. They are the company that owns Orkin Pest Control. Now, when you go from Verizon Wireless wearing a suit and tie to work every day, meeting with clients who are millionaires who own a franchise of a Verizon store, and you go from dealing with that to crawling under homes, trying to sell people on the benefits of Orkin fucking pest control. Talk about being humbled, and being humbled quickly. That was the most miserable job I've ever done. Not necessarily because it was a bad company, or even really a bad job. I learned a lot from it. But coming from such a high to crawling around in dirt looking at bugs and shit was not, I mean, that's not where I wanted to be at that point in my life, right? So at that point, I felt like this shit's fucking beneath me. I wasn't happy. You know, I go in there and I'm already better than everybody because it's fucking Orkin, and they're getting a bunch of like, you know, just older guys who don't know how to talk to people. They can't sell. And, you know, it wasn't for me, right? So anybody who's been following me from literally video one probably, or at least somewhat kind of vaguely remembers me talking about a friend of mine who I didn't nickname him, but who I called him. His nickname was Big Dan. Dan Salee. And he has literally supported me on this since it started. And he watched my channel go from one video to, you know, hundreds of thousands of people watching. And he was, you know, supported me the whole time. Well, I called him one day before I even started YouTubing at all. No videos, never done a YouTube video at all. And I told him, I was like, dude, I have got to do something. I have to. I'm miserable as fuck. I have no creative outlet. I'm not talking to people really. Like I am, but it's not the type of people I want to fucking talk to. I want to be silly. I want to have fun. And I was like, I need something. And he was a big guy that like, not, well, he is a big guy, but he's also like a guy that is a big YouTube fan. Like he watched, you know, we played Call of Duty and Battlefield and stuff back then. And he used to watch YouTube. He's like, dude, you'd be really fucking good at this. And I was like, really? That doesn't sound like, I mean, you know, that doesn't sound like something I would do necessarily. And he's like, no, dude, it's a creative outlet. It's exactly what you're looking for. You already play fucking video games. You're already decent at them. Just do it. Try it. See, have fun with it. And I was like, fuck it. So I made a video. At the time, I played RPGs a lot. I was a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls series, but at the time, there were no like current cool RPGs I cared about. So I wasted time in shooters and stuff like that. Well, I found out that there was a thing called the Machinima Respawn Army. And for those of you who don't know, back then, and I don't know if they still do, I know they partially do at least, Machinima was essentially broken down into 3 divisions. They had the Respawn division, which was first-person shooters and action-y games like that. They had the Realm division, which was RPGs, Minecraft, you know, games that would fall in those categories. And then they had sports, which was obviously sports games, racing games, things like that. So because at the time I was playing first-person shooters, I made a shooter video and I put it up on the Respawn Army app. Well, it got a lot of, like, I don't remember what it was, like thumbs up or likes or, you know, whatever the fuck it was called. It got a lot of likes, essentially, and made it to the front page where they had people, you know, when a video got enough likes, they were like, oh, this guy's obviously pretty good. Let's put him on the app on the main page where it's scrolling across advertising his video. And when that happened, I had like 30 subscribers. But when that happened, that was like, shit, maybe I am good at this. You know, I was like fucking hyped up a little bit. And I called Dan. I was like, dude, go on the fucking app right now. I was like, check it out. My video's on the fucking banner. And he was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. And I watched my channel grow up to like 100 people. And I was like, oh, fucking 100 people followed me. And he's like, dude, that's so cool, you know. And then I started making more videos. And it was 1,000 people. And then it was 10,000. And I'm like, holy fuck, 10,000 people care about me? Like, and that's the 10,000 is when I started my Skyrim Let's Play. So I'd already done some Skyrim stuff, but, and then it's like 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. Now I'm at 150 right now. And it was such a, like, a crazy experience to watch something that was a hobby that I was literally just doing it for a creative outlet to get away from my shit Orkin job to, like having fans. And I've never called any of my viewers fans in like any video, but I mean, it's what they are. So like people were chomping at the bit to get me to do more shit, and I couldn't do it. And that was at the peak, the pinnacle, not the pinnacle, but like that was when my channel was like really sprouting and I was getting hundreds of thousands of views on videos. And it was one of those things where maybe I can do this for a job. And maybe I should try. By the way, every about 10 or 12 minutes, my camera's like, nah, you can't record that long, bitch. And it stops, so I'm going to have to, like, there'll be a certain amount of cuts. So when this ends, I'll pick up where I left off. Anyway, I was like, fuck, maybe I can do this. I hate my shit job. I love doing this. People apparently like it. Let's try it, right? So I did. And it worked out for me for a while. My channel continued to grow. I stopped. I don't remember. I could go back and look, but I stopped at a certain level where I was getting what I considered to be less money, but I considered it to be a lateral move because I enjoyed it so fucking much. And I saw a glass ceiling at Orkin, which I was never going to make that a career anyway. But I saw a glass ceiling where I was only going to make a certain amount of money, and I saw this where I could grow it almost infinitely, right? I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so anyway, I saw the opportunity to make a lot of money. And I see all these guys with millions upon millions of people watching, and this is when like PewDiePie was getting big, and I saw his channel just exploding, and I was like, dude, I can do this. I am gonna be a fucking millionaire. And then of course, that doesn't happen, right? So the reason that I'm telling you this story is because, one, getting started is hard. It takes a lot of hard work, and you wouldn't think that. You'd think, I can just put up a video, be funny, and people are going to like me. No, you get lost in a sea of videos, dude. You get lost in millions upon millions of videos that are uploaded every fucking day to YouTube, and it's really hard. So it takes research. Basically, when I started, I found out that what's the top search result when people are looking for Skyrim? That's character guides. Okay, I'm making YouTube videos. When I search Google for character guides, I'm not finding any YouTube videos. When I'm searching YouTube for character guides, I'm not finding any videos. Maybe I should make some. And my channel exploded, right? So you have to find a niche. And finding a niche on a medium where there's billions of videos, that's fucking hard, right? But if you do it, the feeling of creating that and making your channel and watching it grow is immensely satisfactory, right? Like, not satisfactory as in like, okay, but like, it brings you so much satisfaction. And I can't describe that. I would never, ever undo what I've done and lose that feeling of, I fucking made this, like I created something. And if you want to YouTube, I recommend at least trying it, assuming you're okay with the time and the effort it's going to take to build it, and don't go into it assuming you're going to be a millionaire. Go into it assuming that this is going to be fun. I can meet people. I may have a fan base that grows. And if I do, I like that feeling. To me, it's worth more than money when you enjoy what you do. But when you have a family and you have 2 kids like I do, and a wife and a mortgage, and money starts to become more important. Now, I'm not saying I want to go to a shitty job just to make good money, I wouldn't polish some dude's knob for $50,000 a month or some shit like, well, I probably would. I'm not going to lie. But the point is I'm not going to do something I really despise just to make $10,000, $20,000 more than what I would do elsewhere, right? For something that I enjoyed. So, point being, it's not a walk in the park. You can't just be funny and it happens. Secondly, it takes a lot of thick skin because you're going to get a ton of hate in the YouTube comments. You're going to get one group that likes you to curse, one group that doesn't. You're going to get one group that wants you to be as immature as possible, and one group that wants you to make guides only. They don't want to watch your Let's Play bullshit. I have never been so desensitized to being called a faggot or a nigger or any other racial slur or any other slur period, or sexist. I got called sexist in a video. I've never been called so many different things that I'm not. You know what I mean? But people just spew bullshit at you just to get under your skin and just to fuck with you. And then they'll hit you personally. I've had comments that say something like, you have a wife and a son and you're talking about penises in a YouTube video. What are you doing with your life? And that, at first, it hits you to the core. And then you realize these guys have no fucking life. They're on YouTube talking shit, and they're probably a fucking, janitor at a knockoff McDonald's in, bumfuck nowhere. I'm not taking away from anybody that has to do that to provide for their family, but the point is, they are nothing in comparison to you, probably, and they're talking shit to try to bring you back down because they're jealous of what you're doing, right? They're jealous that you're able to make money and you're able to make fans off of doing something that you like, right? So there's people that are going to be pieces of shit and that are really going to get under your skin and get in your head, and it sucks. But you got to deal with it if you're going to be on the internet, period. Like, it's one of those things. It's like a celebrity, right? The paparazzi. Celebrities hate the paparazzi, but it's a natural thing. Like, they want to take pictures of you because you're famous. You don't really want them to take pictures of you because you want your life to be private, yet you put your private life on TV. Like, so it's a mix. You have to take it with the fame, and I'm using air quotes, the fame. And then you've got to worry about your family, right? You've got to worry about... So my wife and I have had several conversations, several arguments about what I do is not a legitimate job. And she's come to understand that as long as I'm making money, it doesn't matter how. But I fought that battle for years, 2 years at least, 3 years before she finally came around and was like, okay, I get it. But it's not a legitimate job to most people. And my dad is another person in my life that's always supported me and always been proud when I've done something significant, like getting to the 100,000 mark or something like that. Or when I've, got my contract with Hi-Rez and I was going down hosting their launch tournament, shit like that. He's always been proud of that. But he's always had this concern in the back of his head that was, dude, in the course of when I started, you're nearing 30. You have a son and a wife. People aren't going to want to watch you play video games when you're like 45 and 50. What are you going to do then? You have this huge gap in your resume, and it took a few months, years to get me to realize, fuck, he's kind of right. Like, what am I going to do after this? I can't YouTube for the rest of my life. I've got to do something that's going to create a solid foundation for this lifestyle I've created, for this persona that I've created, right? And I kind of utilized what I'd already had going to supplement my free time to learn new shit, right? So I already know video editing. I already know audio editing. I already know graphic design to a medium amount. I know my way around Photoshop, InDesign, things like that. What other skills are marketable online? Well, there's web advertising, web marketing, there's web development, there's web design, there's programming, all kinds of things I can learn, which I know a little bit, but, I don't know enough to start a software system from the ground up or some shit like that. So I was like, fuck it, let's learn some skills. While I'm doing this YouTube and I'm just jacking off all day having fun, let's actually do some work, right? And that led to me starting a company. Excuse me again. And me starting that company was actually one of the best things that's happened to me, because that actually is what led to the job offer that I have now. So, and I told my brother this, and again, I'm gonna be off tangents because I'm just ranting. This may be like a 40 fucking minute video. I don't care. I'm gonna tell my story, and if you guys want to listen to it, you fucking listen to it. If not, don't watch it. This is my last fucking video anyway. I don't care. So I told my my brother, and some of you guys may know him if you watch my streams. He was in one of my streams a couple times. Anyway, I told him, I was like, dude, he's like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to do what you do. It seems fun. I think I'd be good at it. I just need to learn some of the stuff. And I was like, that's the advantage I had, is I already knew how to edit. I already knew how to create thumbnails. I already knew how to speak to people because I'd been in sales for a decade, right? And I was like, I had an advantage. You don't have that. You have, and I'm not saying my brother has no talent. I'm saying he has no marketable talents, right? He doesn't know how to edit video. He doesn't know how to edit audio and make it sound professional. When we did the Gamegasm podcast, I created the sound effects for that. I created the music for that. I edited every episode down to what you heard, anybody who listened to it. And I would have never been able to do that had I not already known how to edit audio, right? So I was telling him, I was like, dude, you have to learn some marketable skills, especially if you want to get into something that you know nothing about. Like, you know how to be funny, that's cool. You know how to play video games, that's great. But you don't know any of the back end shit. And I'm telling you now, if you're 16, 15, and you think that this is something you may want to get into eventually, I'm telling you now, you have to learn the back end shit before you can have fun. So learn to enjoy learning how to audio edit and video edit and even really photo manipulation or graphic design in general. Learn how to do all that, and then you can say, I have all the other skills. Why not dive into YouTube, see what I can do, right? Start it off as a hobby. Don't start it off as I want to make millions, because you're not going to love what you do. I'm going to pause the video again. I hate that I have to keep doing that, but what the fuck ever. Beyond that, what else? So let's go back to when my channel started gaining traction, right? Let's go back to when I was around the 3,000 to 5,000 subscriber mark. I contacted Machinima, and I was like, hey, you guys are the big name, because at the time they were definitely one of the biggest. You know, Polaris and things like that didn't really exist. People knew the Machinima name, and that's who, if you got to Machinima, you were pretty fucking cool, right? Or at least if you could say I'm a Machinima director at the time, they were like, awesome, dude. You're fucking with Machinima? Sweet. So I contacted Machinima. This was after Skyrim started, so it was definitely like probably 2012 before, like right as my character guide started taking off. And I was like, hey, you know, this is my growth pattern for my YouTube channel. This is the series that started the growth pattern. I want to talk to the Realm guys, because at that time I was doing RPGs. Skyrim obviously is an RPG. And I kind of stopped doing shooter stuff. And I was like, I want to talk to these guys just to see what it takes to actually get in with Machinima. And instead of responding with, oh yeah, sure, this is what it takes, they were like, here's an offer. Here's a contract. If you want to sign it right now, you will be a Machinima partner. And actually, once I signed that, like a month later, the Realm guys were like, okay, here's a director contract. For those of you guys who don't know, a partnership contract was somebody, you just join their MCN, their multi-channel network. So your views on your video are paid under their contract. They own your channel. I mean, they don't really do anything with it, but the money from your channel goes into them, and then they pay you out of that, a percentage, right? A director is somebody who actually has a show, a series, on their own YouTube channel, which I did. If you guys remember, it was called Follow Me. It was a Skyrim follower guide. And they pay differently for that. You get views based on what you make from the Machinima channel, which is generally higher than what you make on your own channel. I personally think that that was a bad move for me to start that series there, because I think I would have gotten more traction on my own channel, because my own channel, the top 50 videos were something like almost 20 million views. And there, I think my highest viewed Follow Me video was 150,000 or something like that. I feel like I would have gotten more views on my own channel. That was a mistake on my part. But, you know, it was a business decision. It got my name out there. Actually, this was really cool. My first Follow Me series, when it launched, I got like 3,000 subscribers in a very, very short burst. And actually, I was one of the top 20 fastest growing YouTube channels for that like 2-hour, 3-hour period. And it was neat to see the fact that I was growing faster through that 2 hours than Katy Perry's fucking channel. I remember that very vividly. And I was like, this could be it. This could be the moment, right? And it wasn't. It was just like, oh, hey, this guy, he released a video. He's a new director. We're following him. And it was just a short spurt of, but it was cool to see my name up there with like fucking Katy Perry, right? But anyway, so let's talk about Machinima for a second. The benefits of joining a channel or an MCN like Machinima was the fact that they're huge. Everybody knows them. When you have the ability, and not anymore now, really, because they've got kind of a shitty name now. I feel like Polaris would be like a big one. But you have that name, you have that branding behind you. You feel like a fucking big shot. And they have a more close-knit relationship with like YouTube, right? So if you have look at my channel now, it's a graveyard of videos that it's a dead zone, right? And that's something else. I'm going to remind myself right now. I'll forget, but I'm going to try to remind myself right now to talk about that in a second. But anyway, if you have a copyright strike, or YouTube says this video is fucked up, you can't put that on your channel, you can go to Machinima and go, dude, I can't get a hold of YouTube. You guys are a multi-million-dollar company. Please go to bat for me with YouTube and try to figure out why this video is removed, or why this copyright strike's here, or take this, strike off my channel or something like that. 3 strikes and you're out type thing with YouTube, which I never got a strike at all the whole time I was doing it, but a lot of my videos were removed because of false tags. And that's one of the benefits, which was bullshit, by the way. There was some sort of loophole where I had the title of the video in the description and they count that as like not a practice that you should do. And they're like, why would you delete the video? Anyway. But the problem is, if I was still with Machinima, I might be able to have them go to bat for me with YouTube and say, these were removed for really no reason. What's up? And maybe have them reinstated. However, I left Machinima a long time ago. They fucked me out of $8,000, and that's another story. But the company I'm with now is a smaller company. They don't have that power to go straight to YouTube and go, what's the deal with these videos, bro? You're fucking my shit up. So they don't have that ability. So, I've been kind of told by the company I'm with now that, sorry, nothing we can do about it, which sucks. But, yeah, what are you going to do? Now let's talk about the cons of a big company like Machinima. And this is what I wanted to remind myself to tell you, that the company that I'm with now can't really do anything about my videos, which fucking sucks. But let's talk about the cons of Machinima. They're a massive corporation, and all they give a fuck about is making money off of you. And that's a big problem. And I'm going to name drop here, which I usually wouldn't do, but this is my last video, and I don't fucking care anymore, and I really don't care what this cocksucker thinks about me. But there was a guy that used to work at Machinima, doesn't anymore, named Rishi. And every time I dealt with that motherfucker, it felt like he was just trying to get rid of me so that he didn't have to deal with my problems. And he contacted me one day and said, hey, we're trying out some things with some of our bigger channels. And at this time, I was a bigger channel. At this time, I was making probably $200 a day. I mean, that's a lot. I had, videos with millions of views. It was more, I was getting more views than I should have been for the size of channel that I was. Let's put it that way. So he's like, hey, for some of our bigger channels, and you're above that threshold, for some of our bigger channels, we want to test out a new contract where you get paid for mobile views, which didn't used to happen. Mobile views used to bypass payment because they would sometimes bypass ads. So about 40% of my views were mobile views. And I was doing the math, and I was like, that's going to near double what I'm making right now. That's a big deal. And I was like, sure, fuck it, send it over. So I signed the contract, sent it back to him, and he was like, okay, cool, man, thanks. So a month goes by. I notice my pay hasn't changed. It's kind of what I would have expected if I hadn't got the contract upgrade. And he goes, yeah, I didn't get it. I'll look into it, but I didn't get it. I don't have it. I can't find it anywhere. And I was like, all right, I'm going to resend it now because I'm literally forwarding it now. But here you go. Oh, Skype. Hello. And my phone Skype popped up afterwards. Let me go ahead and D&D that shit. All right. So he was like, I didn't get it. And I was like, all right, I'll send it again. And another 30 days goes by. So now we're 2 months past when I signed that contract. No change in my money again. And I was like, all right, this is getting a little suspect. I'm a little suspicious now that you're fucking up. So I contacted him again. I was like, look, dude, I've sent you the contract twice now. Oh, the first time he told me, it might have not gone into effect in that. And I was like, okay, you're not going to prorate it, but whatever. I'll wait another month to see if it happens. Didn't happen. I contacted him again. He's like, yeah, dude, I still don't have that contract. And I was like, I sent it to you. And he goes, yeah, but the second time you sent it to me, technically that contract didn't exist anymore because that was only like a trial thing. If you were on it already, we would continue to honor it, but you're not because I didn't get the contract. And I was like, you fucking did, dude. I got screenshots of the emails. I sent it to you. Essentially, long story short, he tells me that I never sent it. I have email proof in the email chain and a screenshot of the entire email chain, proof that I did. And he essentially fucked me out of $8,000 over the course of 2 months. Put that math in your head. $4,000 a month over the course of 2 months. $8,000. That's a lot of fucking money. But that's what I would have gained from having those those mobile views. Maybe it might have been 3 months. Now that I'm thinking about that math, $4,000 each month does not sound right. I think I let it go another month to see if it would kick in, and it never did, and that's when we got into it. But long story short, I got fucked by Machinima over the course of to the tune of $8,000 over the course of 3 months, and I told him, I was like, let me out of my contract now, or I'm gonna rain down on you, and I will send this to every one of your bosses to show what a shitty fuck you are. And he's like, you're out, bro. You're out of your contract. So that is a negative to one of the bigger companies, and that is something that you're going to have to fight with, or, it's an internal struggle for yourself on, do I want to go with a bigger company who's got a bigger name, who may be able to go to bat for me when some shit happens on my channel? Motherfucker, it wouldn't be a trend kill video if my phone didn't go off. Or do I want to go with a smaller company who's not going to fuck me over, who's going to be there for me, but can't fight for me when something happens on my channel? So it's all these little things where you have to decide, what do I do? I don't know what the right fucking move is. And you got to read in each of the contracts, because Machinima's is fucking ironclad. They own your channel, period, and you can't get out of this fucking contract. I'm lucky I had essentially blackmail on this guy, and he finally let me out of my shit, right? And I've since talked to some of the guys, and I'm not going to name drop these guys because they're still relevant, but I've essentially talked to some of the guys that used to work for Realm that have moved on since, and they're like, yeah, Rishi's kind of a piece of shit. He's nobody really liked the guy. He's a fucking, he fucked over a lot of people, and, now I get it, but I didn't know that. What are you going to do, right? It happens. I'm going to pause this. This is going to be a long fucking video. I told you. I warned you. I was going to rant. But I want this to be as informational as possible so you guys know what I had to go through to get where I'm at and why I'm giving it up. So I'm going to start the fucking thing over. All right, so part 4. This is the 4th fucking time I've started it. Anyway, where was I? Machinima. They fucking suck. Or they did. I don't know what they are anymore. But anyway. So here's I'm at a pinnacle in my channel now, right? Skyrim is starting to be unfun for me. I'm not having any joy in it anymore. I'm not really into mods, so I'm not really going to do a mod spotlight type series. I think I may have made 1 or 2, but I'm not into that. I like the vanilla game. I like it at its base and its core because that is what I find to be the most fun. But I got burnt out on it. Well, my channel has grown, and they're like, bro, where's the Skyrim stuff? Where's, and I'm like, first off, there's 2 things on that. One, when you have to find a niche on YouTube to gain traction, and you can't remove yourself from that niche until you become a 1 million subscriber channel, and no longer people coming for the game or the series, they're now coming for the person. And I never really got that big. I still, if I were to play fucking Barbie Funhouse, I wouldn't have gotten 1 million views on that video, right? There are channels out there like PewDiePie, for example, who can play Happy Wheels and get millions of people watching it and saying, "Oh my God, I want to suck your dick." I never got that big, and that's a problem, and that's something that you're gonna have to decide if you do this. Am I gonna do what I want to do, what I love, and move on to the game I want to play? Hope my channel follows and is interested, or am I gonna continue to fucking beat that dead horse of a game that made me popular until I'm literally not having any fun? And there are channels that blew up playing Minecraft when I started 5 fucking years ago that are still playing Minecraft. And don't get me wrong, I play Minecraft and I enjoy it as a fun time waster fuck around game, and it's a creative outlet. How can you play the same game for 5 fucking years? I don't understand. But there are channels that do it. That, to me, I would want to shoot myself. I had to stop doing Skyrim. And this is the other thing that comes from that problem where you're in that niche and you're pigeonholed, you're stuck there, is that there are going to be people that are like, dude, I'm unsubscribing. You don't do Skyrim anymore. And to those people, I say, go fuck yourself. Because I put time and effort into my channel and into my videos and being entertaining and putting myself out there, letting you guys learn about me and who I am, making you guys laugh. and I've never asked for a dime from you. In one of my videos, none of my videos have I ever asked for a like or a subscribe or a favorite or tweet this video. I've never asked for any of that shit. I literally have never asked anything from you. And you're going to tell me that you're going to unsubscribe because I'm not doing the game that you want to watch anymore. There's no reason for that. Just fucking go away. Unsubscribe and leave, right? That's how you feel. And it's going to happen. So the problem is that YouTube itself is a flawed system in the fact that people watch you for what you are, and they watch you for your series, not who you are, what you are. And when you stop doing that, they're like, see you later, and they fucking walk away, right? And to that person, I say, dude, you've never paid a dime. Yes, I'm making money doing this, but I don't owe you anything. You've never paid for my services. Now we've got Patreon and shit like that, where if you're paying monthly, and I'm making like, say 500 people are totaling me $1,500 a month on Patreon, which I never even have. I don't even have a Patreon page. If that's the case, then yes, I owe you videos because you're paying for them. If somebody subscribed to you on Twitch, yeah, I owe you time to play. I owe you stream time. But if you literally haven't given me money, you can suck a dick with that. I'm unsubscribing if you don't put out a Skyrim video. Fuck off. I'm not putting out another video of a 6-year-old game, a 5-year-old game, you know? So you're going to run into that. And that's an issue. It's hard to branch off. You have to start a new channel to really branch off. And you start a new channel, now you're splitting your views. When is it right to divide that attention, right? And that sucks. So anyway, I came to the decline of my channel. You know, I did Borderlands. A few of my Borderlands videos were actually I made a Borderlands video. That was my most successful video. It had like 1.4 million views on it or something like that. So yes, you can find success in other games, and that's not hard to do if you do the research, find a niche, and slip into that other game. But I didn't really find much traction beyond Borderlands, right? I did some other things, some series, like some fan service series of people were like, I want to see this guy play Dark Souls, and I've never played it. And it was one of those things where like, yeah, it got views, but when you're getting a video that has 10,000 views on it, and I know if I release a Skyrim video, I'm going to get 100,000 views, it's a little disheartening knowing that people only watch me for the game, not for me. Now I have a core group of probably several thousand people that are going to watch my videos because I am Trendkill. And that feels really cool, and I love every fucking one of you that likes me for me. Thank you very much for all the time that you've spent watching my videos and all the support you've given me throughout the lifetime of my channel. I greatly appreciate every single one of you that's ever done that. But to that tune, that's a very like 5% of my channel. And everybody else stopped watching because I wasn't doing the game they wanted to see me do. And that fucking sucks. So I got to that point where I was thinking about my dad. What am I going to do after this? My channel's declining. I feel like you feel like you're drowning. Like the water's here and my nose is like, you know, I'm fucking choking underwater. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Where do I move? I've got these marketable skills I've learned now. YouTube's kind of falling apart. I started playing Smite, right? So because I started playing Smite, I got a contract with Hi-Rez. And the long story short, they were looking for people to stream. I started streaming for them. They started paying me for streaming. And then the stream kind of ended because they decided to go a different direction with how they were streaming because it was no longer in beta and they wanted to like advertise the brand more than just having people play the game. And so I moved on to Know Your Enemy. Well, with Know Your Enemy, my channel was already declining. They wanted me to do a YouTube series for them, and I was like, excellent. Because you guys are going to pay me. That's going to replace the money I'm losing on YouTube. The problem is I don't have time to YouTube anymore, which is why my year hiatus happened. And it was one of those things where I had to do it. I had to. That was a contract that was guaranteeing me X amount of dollars per month, per video, however you want to say it, per hour working, you know, it doesn't matter. But I was guaranteed that money. It's not like YouTube where I've got to try to find the next big thing for my channel. Boom. I make that video, I get boom dollars, and I'm done. That is nice, let me tell you. Now, the problem with that is I had to put so much attention into my contract with Hi-Rez that I lost attention on my YouTube channel, and that was my major concern when I signed the contract with them, is that, look, you guys are going to get all my time. I'm going to lose all of those viewers, which I really didn't. Kudos to anybody who stayed on my channel in that year-long hiatus when I didn't release anything and who waited. Props to fucking Trend Nation for those people who sat back and were like, I like this guy. I want to stick around. I didn't lose as much fucking traction as I thought I would. I only lost traction when my Skyrim video started being deleted by YouTube, which is a whole nother fucking story. And sucks that I'm not on Machinima and they can't go get those back for me. But shit happens, right? Anyway. So fucking, we're going round 5. Can't believe my fucking battery's not dead yet. So I got the contract with Hi-Rez. This is going to be an hour-long fucking thing. I don't care. Fucking watch it or don't. Suck a dick. I don't care. Anyway, so this is my story of Hi-Rez, right? I was like, you got to compensate me. You got to compensate me right, dude, because I'm taking a humongous risk watching everything that I've built on my own fizzle away, die off, because I'm coming to help you guys. You got to take care of me. This was like a, hey, you want me to do it. I've got to give this up. You got to give me something, you know, got to promise me something, give me something. And they did. You know, they paid me sufficiently. But it wasn't enough. So let's talk about that. So I hosted their launch tournament when they went from beta to a full-fledged released game. Hosted their launch tournament when they released. I worked at every LAN up to Season 1. I worked Season 1. I worked Season 2 for the World Championships. And I worked Season 1 for the World Championships too. But I did that. I was still doing the Know Your Enemy series. I did a lot of back-end work for them, like helping them fix the tags and stuff on their YouTube channel. I did a lot of reports on what I thought the analysis, like what I thought the current status of their YouTube channel was, what they needed to do better, what they needed to do less of. And they compensated me for all of those things based on the hours that I took to do those things. But I felt good that they were asking me for my opinion because I own a fucking web marketing firm. Like, I own a company that does image consultation. I am the person that you come to say, my company's, not doing well on the internet. I need your help. And I take your brand and I smash it into one advertising campaign, and then we spread that out over your whole company to give you a unified look. That's what I do for a living. So that's what they were hoping that I would do. I looked at their ad like SEO, their optimization for their website, looked how they were doing their AdWords campaigns, things like that, and I gave them tips on that, right? So I was in the inner workings of their YouTube channel and their back-end marketing part. And at Season 1 World Championships, Stu, the president of the company, sat me down and he was like, hey, when you coming to work for us? And I was like, thank you. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been working this whole time for. And I've never told this story outside of Hi-Rez, other than to very, very few people that are close to me. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been working hard to hope that some company, whether it be big or small, is willing to pay me to work for them, not with them. I don't want to be contracted anymore. I want to work for a company. I want to have a 401k. I want to stop paying taxes. Because, for anybody who doesn't know, when you own your own company, you pay taxes. You don't get a fucking refund or anything because you're paid on a contract which has no taxes taken out of it. So you have to proactively take taxes out of your own money, which is really hard to do if you're not conscious of the fact that, your company that you work for is taking taxes out already. So it's money that you get. Say you see a $4,000 check, you better set $1,000 of that aside for taxes at the end of the year, right? So anyway, I'm tired of paying Social Security. I'm tired of paying taxes. I want a company that's going to see what my worth is and offer me a job so that I don't have to worry about that shit anymore. And I have a set amount of money I'm going to make every month, right? So when I got that, I was like, that offer, if you will, I was like, yes, let's negotiate, because I'm not the typical guy that you're used to hiring. I have a son. I have a wife. I own a home. My wife is pregnant with our second child. I can't just, boom, pick up and go. I got to be compensated for moving away from my family, for moving to a different state where the cost of living is higher. I now have to pay for babysitting, or my wife has to stop working so that she can babysit. Even if she doesn't want to stop working so that she can babysit, she has to get relicensed in a different state because she's in the medical field. And there's a lot of ifs and a lot of costs that most of your employees don't have. Like Kelly, F-Dot. These are two of my favorite people at Hi-Rez. Well, Kelly's not anymore, but they could both, boom, pick up and go. They're single. They're young. They have no ties to where they are other than family. But if you're going to make a career for yourself, I'll move away from family. But I have things that are tying me to where I am. It's going to take me longer to move. It's going to cost you more. Are you sure you want to do that? And I was told, yes, let's negotiate. So Stu and I went back and forth for several weeks. We negotiated our contract, or not my contract, but we negotiated a salary that I was going to make. And he came to a conclusion of a number that he was satisfied with. And I came to a conclusion of a number I was satisfied with. And we met somewhere in the middle. And it was lower than I wanted, but I thought it was a good career move. It gets me out of the YouTube rat race and gets me into a constant amount of money I'm going to be making. And I was like, cool, let's do it. Can I see your benefit package? Can I see your health plans? Can I see, all this stuff? Sends me all of it, right? Already has a salary in mind. We've already talked like a X amount of dollars for relocation costs. I mean, we're done. Like, we've already agreed on a price. So he's like, I just need to bring you in for an official interview so we can, you can meet everybody you'd be working with. And, we want to make sure that you're technically the right fit for the job. And I was like, cool, let's do it. So he sends me off to Kevin, which is a guy that works in marketing, not Adonis. Adonis is also Kevin. Is also a hell of a guy. Different Kevin. And Kevin's not feeling me as hard as Stu was because Kevin's new. And I'm like, I've been here for 2 years, bro. I've worked in every department you guys have been in. I've been talent. I've been marketing. I've been everything up to this point. So, but he doesn't have the same relationship because he doesn't know how long I've been working with him, right? So he's not feeling it. Not really not feeling it, but he's not as excited about it. And he's like, well, you just come in for an interview. And I was like, you seem a little iffy, man. Don't drive me down or don't fly me down if you're gonna waste my time because I want too much money or whatever. I was like, if money's an issue, just tell me now. Don't bring me down, get me all excited about coming down for the official thing, and then telling me to go fuck myself. And he was like, no, we still want you to come down. I was like, all right. Pack my shit up, put my suit on. I go in for the interview. Interview goes swimmingly according to my standards. And I didn't hear anything for like 3 weeks. And I was like, the fuck? And they were getting ready for, SPL to start and all that kind of stuff. And I finally, I had to contact him. And he was like, yeah, we decided to go with somebody else. And I was like, okay. I'm pissed, right? I don't mind being beaten out. But I've never applied for a job and then interviewed for that job and not gotten it. Never in my whole life. I'm a very good interviewee. I consider myself a very good interviewee, right? I'm very good at bullshitting my way through stuff is essentially what I'm saying. No, but like it was a hit to not only my pride, because this is the first job I've interviewed for that I haven't gotten, but two, we had already decided on a salary that I was going to make. I'd already talked to HR. I've already seen the benefit package. I've already started looking for houses in the area. So I'm fired up. And I kind of snap a little bit. And I apologize to Kevin if he's watching this, which he fucking won't. But if he does, I apologize for how I treated you that day. But I was fucking irate. I've never negotiated salary and then not gotten a job. Why the fuck did we negotiate salary? Why did I already agree to a salary? So I go off on him until he essentially just admits, well, you guys were very close. You guys were essentially equals, and I think that they just didn't want to pay what you wanted to make for that position. It's not something that we really wanted to do. I was like, so the fucking truth comes out. I told you not to waste my time and bring me down here if you weren't going to pay me what I wanted, right? So long story short, that was the one instance with Hi-Rez that I hated. Everything else has been pretty standard, good contract, good relationship with the company. I still work for them at the World Championships, stuff like that. The problem is, now I'm looking at, fuck, I just gave up my YouTube channel for 2 fucking years, and now I got nothing to show for it. Because you don't want to pay me what I want. I know that avenue's gone. I'm not gaining any traction with the company. I'm actually losing traction with the company because my other company is taking off. I don't have as much attention to put towards Hi-Rez. So I've been talking so long, my card got full. Anyway, so basically what I was saying is I don't have as much attention to put towards Hi-Rez, and obviously my YouTube channel is dissipated at this point. I've watched everything that I've created for myself as a celebrity, an e-celebrity, or whatever you want to call it. I'm watching all that die. Now, my business is taking off. That's great. But everything that I've made for myself for the last several years is just kind of falling apart. And it's that reason that when one of my contracts came to me through my business and said, hey, we want to hire you, it was almost a no-brainer. The money is a little better than what I'm making now, sure, but it's a solid job with plenty of room to move up, and it's the right move for my family, right? So, it's one of those, it's scary, right? So when you own your, let me go back. When you own your own company, you may have, let's say I have 5 contracts, right? And I'm just making these numbers up. I have 5 contracts. Each of those contracts is worth $20,000. So I'm making $100,000 a year. Well, let's say year 1, I made $100,000. Sweet, I'm making 6 figures. That's fucking cool, right? Year 2, 3 of those contracts go, we don't need your services anymore. We've hired somebody who's going to do our graphic design, or we've hired somebody who's going to edit our videos for us, whatever it may be. We're going to take our web marketing campaign internally. Okay. I just lost 60 grand. 60% of my income's gone because 3 people said no. 3 people have affected my income by 60%. That's scary. So when you own your own business and you have YouTube, Twitch, Hi-Rez, contracts to my own company, I may only have 10 contracts. They may all be worth $5,000. They may all be worth $10,000. I may have one that's 5, one that's 30, but you're still juggling 10 contracts, and they're all large bulk contracts. If I lose one, that may be 10 to 20% of my business. That's a lot. That's a huge risk, and I'm tired. I'm to a point in my life where I'm almost 33. I'll be 33 this year. 2 children, a wife. Again, I've got a mortgage. I've got all these things that I'm responsible for. I'm tired of wondering, is this going to be okay next year? Am I going to lose my job next year? I'll tell you one more thing that it does. This legitimizes the last 5 years of my life. No longer will I have a resume that's got a 5-year gap. I put self-employed for 5 years. Yes, I did YouTube, make fun of me if you want company, but yes, I did YouTube, which led to a contract with X company, which led to Y skill, which led to Z starting this company, and now I've got a job offer from another company because of it. So it makes my resume flow into this job that I've taken much better than it does if I would have just, my channel and everything that I worked for, oh my God, would have just died off. Now, not only do I have a 5-year gap in my resume, I now no longer have a job either, right? So that is why I've decided to make this move for my life. I've decided to make this move for my family. And I think that anybody in their right mind would do what I'm doing right now, especially when you don't understand the stress that comes with owning your own company, working for yourself, and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video. This is an hour long. I knew it would be a long rant. But I do want to let you guys know, that O'Brien and I are starting back up a podcast. So I will have some online presence still. I will release information probably on this channel to let everybody know how that's starting, where it's going to be, where you can find it, and then this channel will then probably die off. If I ever come back to doing it, I will probably, I don't know if I'll keep the name or not. I doubt I'm going to have time to come back and do this, but I didn't want this to just be a quick goodbye video. I wanted it to be a serious thing where you could at least learn about me, about why I made the decisions I made in my life, about why I did YouTube, why I stopped doing YouTube, why I started it back up with Fallout, because I really was wanting to get back into it, and then this whole job thing stopped it, and why I'm deciding to move on, why I'm giving up all that fame to get back into the working world. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this has at least opened some people's eyes as to what it's like to be a YouTuber and what it's like to kind of deal with that. I have an interesting perspective that a lot of people will never see. So I wanted to tell my story. I wanted you guys to hear it. I wanted you guys to understand it. And I wanted you guys to know why I'm leaving. Again, thank you for all of the time, the years that you guys have spent on my channel. For anybody who's been here since day one, I know Laffy Jr. still comments on my channels. That motherfucker's been watching me since I had 45 subscribers. All the fans that I've met and that I talk to on Skype, all my friends that I've made, shout outs to Nanania, Make Sandwich Woman, Foster Peters is a fucking awesome guy. Anybody who I will stay in contact after this is over, I consider you a friend. Thank you for being there for me and listening anytime I needed to talk. Thank you for enjoying me enough to actually become a friend and not just a fellow YouTuber. And any of my mods on Twitch or people that I've met, you know who you are. I'm not going to mention names. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. It was a good ride. It was fun. I enjoyed it while it lasted. And again, it was a humbling experience to get this far, even though I didn't get as far as I thought I would, or I didn't get as far as some of the bigger guys. It was fun getting to this point. And it's sad to see it end, but it's the right move for what I need to do in my life. So, thanks, guys. This probably will not be the last time you hear about me, but it will definitely be the last. Like, there will not be any more video games on this, or video game videos on this channel. It's over. I hate to say it, but it is. So, love you guys. Thank you for supporting my channel while you did. Thank you for making me who I am. Thank you for all the times and all the times you called me a faggot in the comments. Thank you for that. It really helped mold me into what I am. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. No, I won't. I won't see you later. Peace out.